It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay?
Greetings, wayward souls. It's the Game Pack Preacher, and dang it, y'all, I am tired. So very tired. And this time I don't just mean physically. Did y'all see this? Because I sure as heck saw it, and I hated it. Like, genuine hatred. I honestly didn't want to make this. There's enough negativity in this community as is, but I feel legitimate anger at the announcement of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. For several reasons, really. So let's go down the list, shall we? First off, why are you remastering a game that is barely 3 years old on the same frickin' console the original title came out on? Did Part 2 come out on PS5? I don't even know, and quite frankly, I don't really care. I'd go as far to say even the original game hardly needed remastering. The original Last of Us still looks good on the original hardware it came out on, being the PS3. And don't get me wrong, I do genuinely enjoy the original game as well. I didn't play Part 2. The cycle up to the game's launch kinda turned me away from it, but like, Jesus Christ, how many times do we have to retread this? This franchise has more re-releases than actual freaking entries, I don't know, man. Like, remember when Sony made things that were different? Like, it's not to say that their current output is bad, far from it, but it kinda feels samey, you know? Like everything has to be some graphics-pushing, award-winning masterpiece or some such. Like, do y'all remember this? Or this? What about this? Noticing a trend? Funny enough, a majority of those games I just showed were also developed by Naughty Dog, the devs behind, well, The Last of Us. And sure, I'm sure we all pine for the days of Bandicoots and Otzels to some degree, but I get it. You always want to strive for better, especially as an artist. And I can't really fault a studio for wanting to try something different, but sadly, different ideas are seen as risks, and risks aren't likely to make all the money in the known universe, so companies don't really like those. And sure, maybe this cow hasn't been milked to the degree that, say, GTA 5 or Skyrim has, but Skyrim you can mod the hell out of, and GTA 5, well, that's still making a ludicrous amount of money. However, the thing with that is that both of their respective studios are still making other games, as similar as they may be. For the past decade, with the exception of wrapping up the Uncharted series, they have only made The Last of Us games, and at this point it feels like they only ended Uncharted to solely focus on that. I mean, hell, we even have a multiplayer-focused Last of Us game coming out, and that doesn't even have a release date yet. Even with GTA 6 we know we're getting it in 2025, and that game was a literal decade in the making. And that might as well lead us to reason number 2. There's so many other games that could be getting this treatment. People have been begging for a Bloodborne re-release for ages. Heck, people are still begging for it. And if you're saying to yourself, well, that's not Naughty Dog, well, let's go back to Jak and Daxter. A lot of other Sony mascots are still able to make it today. Why not bring them back? Anything to erase their last adventure from the history books. Even for me, the guy who's all about platformers, it's not even about them anymore. I just want something, literally anything else. I'll take a freaking, I don't know, a Way of the Warrior reboot at this point, just anything. Cause regardless of how you feel about their games, the folks at Naughty Dog are a talented bunch. And even as Sony at large, it's like, not everything has to be a cinematic masterpiece. Not every game has to be an award winner, a system seller, or even a limit tester. And we don't need another remaster of a franchise that has a case of separation anxiety so bad that it would make Assassin's Creed say that it needs help. I don't know, man. Maybe with Jim Ryan leaving, there may be a shift in direction over at PlayStation HQ, but I'm not holding my breath for that. And I have to stress, this is by no means to discredit their current output. But as big of a splash that The Last of Us made on the scene, the more time passes, the more I'm convinced that those ripples have done more damage than good. If you are excited for this, more power to you. Far be it from me to spoil your fun. But from a personal standpoint, The Last of Us is driving me to the last of my nerves. And as long as we're being petty, how did The Last of Us beat out Mario movie for Best Adaptation at the Game Awards? I mean, the awards themselves aren't really, like, no one should really care about that much, but like, seriously, how do you beat out like one of the highest, if not the highest animated features of all time? It's just like, people have been saying The Last of Us adaptation is good, but I mean, I really don't think it can be that good, but just like, I really don't know how it came to this. It's like, one day Neil Druckmann will pay for his crimes, I swear.